Hi, welcome to my channel where we discuss different self improvement ideas and just how to be a better person. And this doesn't stop at money and woman and financial stuff and things. We are talking more about our mental health because without a good mental health, we are fucked. So, yeah, let's talk about mental health today. Let's just start being happy, being ourselves, and just existing in this life. I met a person recently, and the story of this person is they moved around the world, so cities and apartments and countries, like four times, right? And they were miserable in every place, so that's why they kept moving. And now I've heard that this person wants to move again to a new place because there's a fantasy that this new place is going to make them be better and it's going to make them feel better about themselves and life in general, which I do not believe is true. So I'm sure we have things in our life like this. But let's see this as it is, right? So this person has a problem, they feel miserable, uncomfortable, not enough, whatever, in this place, whatever. Now, look at the strategy. They tried to move around five times. Now, this is a strategy, right? It kept repeating. It's a strategy they've tried. So, if you tried a strategy for a couple of times, four or five times, and it doesn't work, the strategy is at fault. It's not your fault. You know what I mean? I think the strategy is shit. So, if you really want to do something, this is a hard truth, but you gotta stop being the way you are. You gotta be different. If you don't change, if nothing changes, nothing changes, and all of this other story. But yeah, it comes a point where they're just ignorant, I think. And it's also like I've put so much work into this strategy and into this way of being and believing that I have to make it work because if not, all this time and energy is wasted. Well, the energy is wasted either way, and the time is wasted. So what's really important here? Is it important for us to be right, or is it more important for us to have a good life? I think that's what you have to ask yourself sometimes. Is it really important to me to be right in this conversation? There might be situations in your family, at work, with your friend group, where you're like, I think this person is wrong, but it's like it doesn't make any sense to make your point and to get into a fight just so you're gonna be right. Just leave people be the way they are. And yeah, you don't have to be right about many things. You just gotta find something that works. But yeah, we're just talking about stuff. And yeah, I mean, life, life is life, bro. That's how you have to see it. Life is life. Life doesn't have to be any any type of way. And people don't like hearing this, but life just is. Life exists. We exist in this life, and we are trying to be something, but we exist at the end of the day. And that's it. Life is. It doesn't have to be anyhow. You don't have to be any kind of person. You don't have all of these rules that we think exist don't actually exist. There was a quote that I liked. It was like, you lived your life believing there are rules. There aren't any rules. Kanye West had a nice story about this. It was, he said it like this: you have a child, and he plays around the house, right? And you have a coffee table, and he jumps on the coffee table and plays with his airplane or whatever. And then the parents come and are like, no, you're not allowed to sit on the coffee table. Of course, it's not made for that. We get it. But then the child in his mind is like, this is not allowed. I'm not supposed to do this. I can't do this. But you can do it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying you should do it. I'm just saying that it just stops your thinking at that point because you're in your mind you already made a decision because either you learned that or life through life experiences that doesn't have to happen. So we limit ourselves. Then at some point we have so many coffee tables stuck on top of each other in our minds that we become very limited in a way. You know, like this person that wants to move around, I realize they're very, very limited in thinking. They're like, life is very black and white for them. It's like this, everything is like that. You gotta be like this, or things happen like that. You know, like they figured everything out in a way. They know exactly how life's gonna turn up for everybody if they do this or they do that. There's no room for any other circumstances or for anything else to happen, or for coincidences, So let's stop being like that, Let's just take life as it is. Let's just be present. Let's just enjoy our time here. First, let's just enjoy our time here. I mean, is it really a good life if we put so much work in for so much time, and we put so much work in, and at some point, I got a message. I just read it for a second. We put so much work into our life, and at some point we realize I didn't enjoy my life. Yeah, I've accomplished this, and people look at me like that, and whatever, whatever, right? But we never really stopped to enjoy life at all. So I think it's more important to just enjoy this life than to be successful. Like there's poor people that live a much better life than many rich people, successful people that you might actually admire. You don't know what goes on in their heads, because when you have a lot, you also have a lot to lose. And not anybody can live with that. And not anybody can live with having less than somebody else or something like that. Every person is different. But the point is to just enjoy your life. We were not put here for any purpose in a way. You make the purpose. You gotta figure out what you wanna do, who you wanna be. It's really up to you, you know?